Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Chapter 51, Bombs Drop. At Meherabad, a large swing given by the Jesawallas was hung by chains between two tall poles, just outside Baba's kitchen. It had a wooden plank for a seat, high off the ground. Baba often sat on it, and everyone took a turn swinging him, as Walu sang the traditional Krishna Jala, the swing song. Sometimes Mehera too sat on the swing. The Jesawala swing had originally hung at their home in Nagpur, where Baba had also sat on it. This swing is not the one in the photo of Baba and Mehera on the facing page. That swing was a crude one with ropes that was put up temporarily for a special festival, such as Nag Pancham, that is the snake festival, in August. It hung outside.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It hung outside Mehera's room, and a pillow for Baba and Mehera was evidently on it. Moti, the peacock, was not kept caged and loved to wander the compound and perch on the top bar of the swing. His long tail hanging down was like a curtain when you walked by, Mani observed. A cascade, a waterfall, a rainbow of color. Margaret had the duty of feeding Moti and two other young peahens, also kept at Meherabad. They were pesky, scrawny young females with short feathers. Baba named them Edie and Jingi, after little Adi Kotwal and Mehera's nephew, Jangu Irani. The peahens, too, were not kept in a cage, although they were troublesome and likely to attack. When Mani and Khorshid were on watch outside Mehera's bathroom, they had to hold sticks to keep the peahens away. Mansari sat outside to translate articles from the Meherabad Journal into Gujarati, and she too had to hold a stick for protection against the birds. Jangu remembered the days he spent on the hill with the women Mandali as the best years of his life. Baba came every day when he was not in seclusion. I wet Baba so many times playing on his lap. Who can say that they peed on Baba, right? Adi Kotwal, who was staying in the family quarters for some time, was Jangu's best friend, and Jangu's sisters, Meru and Nagu, occasionally visited also. Baba came to the East Room at 1:20 p.m. on Thursday, 29 August 1940, and called everyone inside an hour later, after spending some private time with Mehera and the few close Eastern women. He asked about the health of each and then spoke of the cancellation of Margaret's proposed visit to Australia, saying, "Don't be disappointed. Instead, be happy that by staying here, you are not missing the great opportunity of sharing with me this important period. And you shall be with me in my new plan for November." To be with me at this period needs infinite good sanskaras from the past. I have dropped the idea of Australia and am now looking on quite new plans in November, which will need much money. Baba turned to Kitty and jokingly asked, Kitty, when will your father die? Becoming serious again, Baba said, now there are bombs falling on London and the state of poor France. France was in the hands of the puppet Vichy regime and being used as a base for the Luftwaffe attacks on England. Targets had mostly been confined to military objectives, but on 23 August, Nazi bombers inadvertently bombed the heart of London, and the British retaliated by bombing Berlin. The Battle of Britain began in earnest. In the next week, the Nazis sent over 1,000 planes a day, concentrating on taking out the British Air Force once and for all. Badly outnumbered to begin with, the RAF began to crumble. Baba said, soon the war will come to India. Baba continued, the declaration of civil disobedience will make it even worse. The Muslim League is siding with Britain, and the Congress Party is against them. They will fight and kill each other, and Italy will raid. There are very bad times ahead for everybody. Commenting on the Indian nationalist poet and spiritual teacher, Aurobindo Ghosh, Baba said, Aurobindo was a political leader, a revolutionary and anarchist before becoming a saint. He was imprisoned, but in jail he read the Vedant. When he was released from jail, his encounters with Vedant led him to meditation. He is not allowed in British India, so he stays in Pondicherry, a French territory. He has a large following through his spiritual books. Sidebar says, when Aurobindo Ghosh died 10 years later in 1950, Baba listened to the news on the radio and sat before the saint's picture for some time, explaining that by doing so, he was pushing him from the 6th to the 7th plane. Baba then stated, from now on, I will come twice a week. This month, I will be working differently. Every month, I will change my phase of working. Tomorrow, all the musks from down below in the family quarters will be brought up. For a month, they will stay up on the hill, and I will be working hard with them. So don't send warrior anymore, for there will be no place for him to sit. They are building a little room for me right there where I can work alone for a certain period every day. Krishna's birthday had been on the previous Sunday, but it was celebrated that day under the tin shed with Baba, who said, No ceremony or arti or puja, only fun allowed. So the servants, the local villagers, sang songs, all rocked the cradle with Krishna's photo in it, and had fun breaking open the traditional yogurt chatti. Afterwards, they had tea. And Baba noted, there is a plague in Pune after many years. Nagar, too, had a plague 40 years ago. Sidebar says Baba's younger sister, Franey, had died of plague in Pune in 1905. So Baba was 11, and I'm not sure how old Franny was. Around 6 p.m., everyone returned to Mehera's room. Baba showed them a telegram from Kakabaria. Its descriptions of the difficulties he was having in bringing the new must from Bombay provoked plenty of laughter. Baba said, Kaka is the only one for this job of bringing musts. He went all alone on the train with the last must, Karim Baba, to Calcutta, and he had such a time with passengers, police, etc. At one station, the must turned ghoul, meaning violent, and wanted to get out of the train. I think that Karim Baba was the one that they led up the hill in chains, right? Because he could be so violent. Then at Calcutta, he would not get out. At last, poor Kakal left him in his original place. It is not an easy job to bring musts. There are so many complications and difficulties. The Muslims who know the saint get very excited. Scroll, please, Tina. The Muslims who know the saint get very excited when Kaka tries to take away the must and rise to beat him. But he says, I am doing it for my master. You may beat me if you will, but let us see if the saint is willing to leave. And then the saint says, yes, I am willing, and goes with Kaka. Sometimes the police intervene, and there are so many other complications. But he has wonderful patience and tolerance. Happily, he has a gift from God to know a must from a madman. Their appearances are similar, and it is so difficult to tell, but he can know a must. There are 2,000 mad roaming around in Bombay. Yet from them all, he brings the must. When he first goes to musts, he talks with them and massages their feet, offers cigarettes, coaxes them with such patience and love for hours till they come. At first, sometimes the musts, beat him, but he bows his head and accepts the beating. Then they calm down. If others accompany him, they get fed up with it all. But he enjoys his job, and only he can do it. There are 3 musts in Bombay. One is Tipu Baba, who is very well known and has a large following. The second is the sannyasi saint. And the third is the must who is coming tonight. Tipu Baba is much more advanced. It was not very difficult to bring this new must from Bombay because people there know me. But in Calcutta and other places, it is very difficult. From September 1940, Baba resumed visiting the women twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays. On 1 September, the anniversary of the beginning of the war, after spending an hour alone with Mehera and Mani from 1 to 2 p.m., all were called and Baba revealed, this war will make such complications in the future that no one will know who is friend and who is foe. They will suspect anybody. Here in India, even many Englishmen are suspected of being secret agents. People can't go anywhere. Americans cannot come. People cannot leave from here. It will be such a muddle and mess. In Europe, too, people cannot go where they want. And still, Will and Mary Beckett in England keep sending money. In Ahmednagar, new buildings for military purposes, new camps are being built. The conversation turned to a recent letter from Delia de Leon in England, describing how she spent so much time in dugouts as the Luftwaffe terror attacks continued. Hitler had hoped that this would panic the British people into a revolt that would force their leaders to make peace with Germany. But the bombing on London only strengthened the determination of the British to fight on. In Berlin, however, the German people were demoralized that their vaunted Luftwaffe could not protect them from raids by the RAF. And Hitler began to grow nervous about his own position. While inquiring about their health, Baba remarked that Sunamasi and Carmen Masi, who had rotund figures, looked like the laughing Buddha. And Elizabeth, who was a late riser, was the sleeping Buddha. Everyone went upstairs with Baba to the Westerner's room, now called the study hall, and the conversation turned to travel. Scroll, please, Tina. What a lovely view you have upstairs, Baba commented. I like Meherabad in winter. In the West, I like the climate of Hollywood, California. Is it always like that? Honolulu, I liked very much, and Karwar. Baba asked Elizabeth, you have traveled more than others. Which climate or which place do you like the best? Elizabeth replied that none could be perfect the year round. Narina said that the island of Madeira had the most equable climate in the whole world. Elizabeth said she liked Mexico for its temperate climate. And Baba declared, well, in winter, we go to Mexico. Nadine mentioned Malta and the Caucasus region. And Baba said, we go in December to Malta and also Sicily, which Narina said was ideal. Also Bali, but not now. We will go to all these places someday. Chanji had been instructed to send books about certain states in India describing the climate and scenery, and Baba stated, in the beginning of December, I leave Meherabad definitely. If Kitty's father dies or Elizabeth gets money from the sky, or this new explorer, that's referring to an item in the newspaper, if this new explorer does something about it, we will all go together. Otherwise, I go alone. From tomorrow, the Mads come up to stay with me here. So I have to work during September and then send them all back. In October, I will work differently. Also in November, it will be quite a new system. The new saint came from Bombay. I washed him, etc., and sent him back. There is no place, that is, there's no room here. Mani noted. So unless money comes, that's dollars, rupees, Baba leaves alone. Baba has 50,000 rupees cash and 20,000 rupees for a year's requirements for ladies, mandali, musts, etc. And he needs 30,000, he needs 50,000 more. Baba asked, how much does an airplane cost? Someone quoted a large amount. We will go in an airplane and drop bombs. No, we will drop eggs for Warrior and the Canaries. Baba paused and then added, I will go in the airplane and drop eggs, and you all catch them. The conversation turned to specifics. Now to talk of something practical. How much does it cost to live for 8 months in California for 20 people? It was estimated at $5,000 plus $10,000 for their passage, totaling $15,000, not counting the return passage. If we return, Baba added. He asked, how much would it cost 20 people to live for 8 months in Karwar? It was estimated at less than 100 rupees per day for 8 months, or 15,000 rupees approximately, plus 5,000 rupees for traveling, and so on, totaling 20,000 rupees. If we stay for 8 months in Karwar, 20,000 rupees is enough. If we go to California, 15,000 rupees or more. If we stay in Meherabad, Sorry, I didn't quite finish the previous page. If we stay in Meherabad, I save one lakh. And then there was laughter. Don't build anything on what I am saying now. Perhaps we go neither to Karwar nor to California, but definitely we won't stay in Meherabad. In December, things will be so entangled, I will have to do what I have already fixed that I must. In September, the second phase of the war will begin. The beginning will be very, very bad. Many surprises will follow. In October, more world powers will become involved. England will be on edge. November will be the most serious month for India. Baba added, with the ever-present twinkle in his eyes. In December, automatically, it will happen that what I do will be just according to how I have planned it. He concluded by saying, if that police inspector who wanted an interview had come to see me, I would have had to leave Meherabad immediately, for it would have meant my seclusion was interrupted. So I managed to avoid this situation. Maya brought it, but I managed to avoid it. I told the Mandali, do what you can. He must not come. I must not leave Meherabad before the 15th of November. And in December, I must not stay here. And it's good and God's key that the inspector is a nice man, or he might have insisted on coming to see me. He is very interested in the orders and made personal inquiries, etc. He was very serious. You have no idea. The matter was a trifle, but his coming to see me would have upset my plans very much. They went downstairs and, after tea at 5:30 p.m., again assembled around Baba in Mehra's room until he left at 8 p.m. Tina, you want to read a little bit?
No, I don't feel up to it.
Oh, okay. Well, how about Rosalie Dunphy? I think she's in the
Yes.
house.
Yes, Rosalie can take over.
Where are we at? And it's good.
After the leaf.
Okay. Once, while Rana was in the kitchen with Baba, Narina let out a blood-curdling scream. Rana rushed upstairs to their room, where Narina said, "Quick, there's a monster on the wall." It turned out to be a baby scorpion, which Rana killed. When Rana returned to the kitchen and told Baba, he had a hearty laugh. Just as Narina was terrified of scorpions, Delia had been terrified of snakes during her stay in India. But Walu was the one who actually got bitten by a snake. She was in much pain, and Margaret gave her something to bring down the swelling. Sidebar says Walu was later bitten by a scorpion also at Marathon. In 1940, many snakes were seen on the hill, Since coming from Ranchi, the women had killed 5. When Baba returned to their quarters on 5th September at 2 p.m., he inquired, "Any snakes this week?" Baba discoursed about evolution, mentioning a few turning points, such as the forms of a rose, a crow, a dog, and a snake. He went on to say that he had been annoyed by the interruption of someone talking loudly during his working hours and proceeded to make some changes in their schedule. From 4:30 to 7 a.m., from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and from 8 p.m. onwards, nobody must talk loudly. Also, change the time of singing Hari Paramatma. Instead of 5:30 to 6 a.m., sing it from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Morning tea at 6:30 a.m., lunch at 12 sharp, and evening tea at 6:30. In the morning, nobody is to get up after 5:30 a.m. For 1 month, do all this very strictly to help, and do not sleep while singing. Difficulties have begun to crop up among the women, and Rano informed Baba that at the breakfast table, Elizabeth had infuriated Irene, who was on silence, but Baba merely commented, "What a great opportunity to obey my order and not get upset." Naja was still unwell, and the sidebar says Naja had a heart condition. Baba remarked, "If Naja dies, I will place her grave near Nani's." Baba had predicted that one more of the Mandali would die before the war's end. He continued, "So for 1 month, things will be very bad, very important, serious, and urgent for my work. I want you to obey orders so literally that you must put up with every kind of difficulty, and willingly too, to help me. And for that, try your utmost not to get upset or go to hell if you don't want to help." At 5:30 in the morning, all must get up, whether alive or dead. And unless you are very heartless and careless, you will do it with all your heart. Baba digressed to tell them a humorous story about one of the early men Mandali. There was one Muslim devotee called bar soap because he once ate a bit of bar soap, thinking it was cheese, and he swallowed it not to be ridiculed. Always when meditating, he used to sleep sitting upright. And when anyone gave him a push, he would say, "I was deep in meditation, but I caught him one day." Baba continued, "Also sing the 7 names of God with heart and soul. If you see how I make these mad sing, 2 of them start dancing, how they get into it wholeheartedly. For 1 month, keep quiet during my work hours. After a month, it will be easier. So try your utmost this month." And the sidebar says, "Oh, I'm not yet." He added, Chati Baba, who never used to sleep before, now sleeps all day. The conversation turned to the war, and Baba stated, America has indirectly joined the war. England endures it very well. Hitler is in a fix. But wait and see what Russia does. And the sidebar says, while Hitler was busy that summer of 1940 directing the conquest of the West, Stalin was taking advantage of the Führer's preoccupation by moving into the Baltic states and reaching down into the Balkans, where he seized Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. But Hitler was already making plans to attack Russia, which would be his undoing. Okay, where am I? Okay. Baba changed the subject by remarking, we will go to Morocco in December. Narina asked, via California? And Baba replied, via anything, via airplane, cable, spirit, or soul. He asked rhetorically how they liked Karwar and said, they, the British authorities, intend building military camps down at Lower Mehrabad, in which case we won't stay here. Baba had commented on 22nd August that bombs would drop on Norina's foot. And indeed, she had strained a ligament in her right foot and become temporarily bedridden. She was supposed to keep Lucky the monkey with her in bed under the mosquito net, but he escaped frequently. And I need more words, and caused trouble. Elizabeth was supposed to get to help look after Lucky, but while Mansari was translating articles for the journal, Lucky grabbed her ink bottle, papers, and pens and ran off with them. Since Mansari was on silence, she could not shout as she would have liked to do. Mansari was still irritated about the incident when she came to the meeting and complained to Baba, who replied, Mansari gets exasperated and excited in no time and cannot control her ire because she is not strong. And you all cannot help her because you are too weak. I want you to help each other. I do not want you breaking my orders for a monkey. The more I ask you to be more obedient, the less you all obey. You obey less and help less because you are helpless. Unless and until you keep strict watch over yourselves, you cannot follow my orders. It is not possible. So try. Someone asked Hafiz what spirituality meant, and he answered in one ode, unless you go against your lower self, you cannot unite with your higher self. Now, what is the lower self? That which makes you think you are small. That which makes you feel that you are not satisfied, happy. That which makes others see you as small. So this meaning of going against the lower self is to transform this in quite the opposite direction, so that which makes you look big and makes others see you as big. Remain pleased and contented, happy and satisfied. When you are displeased, unhappy, or upset and moody, it is your lower self asserting itself. People always put the blame for their dissatisfaction and suffering on others. But the fact is, when one suffers, it is one's own fault. Mansari became excited. She was angry and suffered. And she laid it all on Elizabeth, Norina, and Lucky. But if she had gone beyond the lower self, she would have taken it calmly, swallowed it, and remained unaffected. If you are firm, nothing will upset you. If you try, you will surely achieve it. I do not want any repression, but I do want transformation. I never for one moment say that you must not get angry. Don't be confused. You must get angry when the occasion arises. But at once, you must get it out of your head. If you are not hungry, fasting has no meaning. I have told you this story before. Prophet Muhammad once told his chief apostle, Ali, if you want to know me, try your utmost to control your anger and transform it into love. The very next day, someone challenged Ali to a fight. Ali fought him and won. He brought the man down and sat on his chest. The man spat right in Ali's face, the worst insult to a Muslim. Ali got so angry, he raised his dagger to kill him. But then Ali remembered what Muhammad had said, and so instead, he kissed him and let him go. Now, if he had not gotten angry, he would not have had the opportunity to control himself. Baba added humorously, that does not mean that you should kiss each other when you are angry. Norina said something in her defense, and Baba replied, Italians can't control their temper. He observed, like the Italians, the Bengalis too cannot control their anger. The Punjabis are better. They get very angry, but they are calm and have control. Neither of the extremes is good. Those who do not get excited and those who very quickly lose their temper. But they are great who, though excited, control their temper. I like the Punjabis best for that. To become excited and to express it is the easiest thing on earth. But to control anger is a great thing. If Nadine's cat, eats the bird, Nadia will get annoyed with the cat. But if Elizabeth sees the cat eating the bird, she will punish the cat, and Nadia will be upset with Elizabeth. Baba concluded, don't be Italians, too hot, nor Eskimos, too cold, but be Punjabis, controlled. Baba led the women outside to see Lucky. who had caused all the commotion and ill feelings. While Baba was petting him, Lucky got loose. After a long chase, he was found in the bathroom, where he was caught mischievously smearing toothpaste. Baba picked up a stick and struck him. Lucky was shaking with fear and passed watery stools. Baba was not happy about it, but Lucky was Baba's monkey, no matter what. And he said, if Lucky died, he would be freed, liberated, and added poignantly, both my two pets, Chum and Lucky, have to be kept tied all day. He told Mani, I will ask about him, Lucky, tomorrow morning, and you write a reply. The next day, he did ask about Lucky's condition 3 times. For some days, when Baba was with them, Nadine began taking notes, while Mani read Baba's board. Afterwards, Kitty typed the notes, which Kitty also took at times, and Mani proofread it. Sometimes their mistakes were humorous. For instance, during the session on 5 September, 7 was a spiritual number, you see, Mani explained. Things got mixed up that day. Everyone had a good laugh over it. Later, they told Baba about it, and he asked Nadine, are you crazy? Could a man eat even 1 bar of soap? Kitty was absent for a great deal of what went on in front of Baba. However, she hated to sit still and was always off in the kitchen, checking the rice or something else. She explained, I was more a Martha than a Mary, referring to 2 of Jesus's women disciples, whereas Margaret was always present near Baba. No, it's not. Mary was always present near Baba. I don't get that. Anyway, it was Mary that was always near Baba. Oh, anyway. But this could be too much of a good thing. For instance, Mansari loved Baba deeply and wanted to be with him all the time, under any circumstances. Whenever Baba came to the women's side, Mansari stopped her work to follow him, so closely at times that she was practically on his heels. She picked up a pinch of dust from where Baba had walked and put it on her forehead. She also drank Baba's bathwater and stared at him when he was sitting with them. Baba did not like any of this, and neither did Mehera and the others. Baba didn't want people sitting before him and just gazing, adoring him, said Mani. You had to learn after a while to want what he wanted, to be sensitive to his pleasures, his wish. We had the freedom with Baba, but not the liberty. Mansari troubled Baba in the sense that she often did what she wanted to. Mansari didn't do things how Baba wanted her to. Manu Jesawala concurred. She did things on her own. She loved on her terms instead of on his. The worst part, though, was that after displeasing Baba, Mansari argued about it. Much to his consternation, and further aggravating him. Moreover, she would not listen to Mehera. When Baba said that Mani's habits disturbed his work, Mehera told her not to act that way. But Mansari was stubborn and continued as before. She maintained, "My eyes are only to see Baba." The sidebar says Mansari's disputatious nature was perhaps one of the reasons she had been placed on silence for a year. And I'm going to start here. In addition, Mansari was insensitive to Mehera's feelings. Whenever Baba told Mansari not to upset Mehera, not to do certain things because of Mehera, Mansari wondered aloud, "Who is she, Baba, that you pay her so much respect? We too are staying with you. Why does Mehera alone get to do your hair?" She griped. "Why not let others have a chance?" And so on and so forth. Once during the Blue Bus tours, Baba told Mansari that Mehera wanted her to go in the bus rather than in one of the cars. Mansari refused. "Whatever you say, I will do. I have come for you, Baba. I have not come for any Mehera or Sarah." In front of both Baba and Mehera, Mansari stated, "Baba, I will obey you, but I won't obey Mehera or anyone else. Why should I listen to her?" Baba said, "But I am telling you to do as she says. If you love me and want to please me, do as I say. I love her, so I am telling you to do it." It did not matter to Mehera that Mansari did not like her or listen to her. Mansari ignored Baba's pleasure. What worse transgression could there be? It was something Mehera simply could not fathom or forgive. The result was that Mehera felt distanced from Mansari, and in later years, Mansari found herself isolated at Meherabad, away from both Baba and Mehera. Mani said, "It was true that Mehera had certain privileges, but none of us took liberty. We knew if any of us did, that slowly you would find yourself living outside somewhere, in Bombay, for instance, like Big Khorshid, or perhaps Meherabad, like Mansari. In the beginning, Baba might give in. It is like toys, but then it is taken away from you. Toys are not for always. They are props. In the beginning, he sweetly helped you to do things, carry out orders. But once we were grown up, as it were, he expected us to do things." I need more words. "You yourself did not realize how much you could do till Baba asked. He stretched you, but never to a breaking point. You would say, 'I couldn't possibly take any more than this. I couldn't possibly do any more of this.' But Baba would ask you to do more, and you would do it. And then you would realize that you could. There was much more you could do than you could even realize you could. That was for him. When you do it for Baba, the love you receive from Baba. Baba would not give out pats on the back. He gave work and then expected you to do it. Even if you did it well and felt pleased with yourself, you had no right to expect Baba to shower praise. Mansari admitted later that at first she had not realized Mehera's position. In the beginning, I thought Gulmai played Radha's part. Others thought the same. Gulmai looked radiant during those days. And according to Mansari, it was her nature to be outspoken and straightforward. I was always frank with Baba, so familiar with him. I never hid anything. I always showed my feelings. I was not fighting, but I would ask, why Baba this? Why that? I was open-natured. Baba used to say, Mansari holds no curtain between me and her, so it is very easy for me to work with her. I would reply, yes. Now to tease Mansari, you know very well. I wept like anything from so much teasing. His order later on not to see him was too much for me. I would reply, yes, how to tease Mansari, you know very well. I wept like anything from so much teasing. His order later on not to see him was too much for me. About the charge that she annoyed Baba by staring at him, Mansari said, of course I was a starer. I must admit it. Whenever Baba sat or explained anything, I never paid attention to the explanations. I just used to stare. What are you doing? Baba would ask. Just staring at me? Did you hear what I said? I would reply, yes. What did I say? Don't you want to see my real form? This is not your real form, Baba. If you see the real Baba, you will go mad. I used to say to myself, I am mad enough now from seeing you. I don't want to be more mad. I don't need to see your real form. Then you don't want realization. No, wherever you are, it is my realization. Mansari continued, Baba would make us forget that he was Baba, so we would foolishly argue with him. He would say, no one would like to swallow bitter medicine, but you have to. If you don't listen to me, then there is no use staying up here on the hill. Admire me at home, garland me at home, and stay there. When you are here, you are under my training. I think it's 3:00, Tina. Tina.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'll turn off the recording.
Okay.